What's going on, guys? TheAireaidLord is here for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2 review. This episode is called The Bridge. Sorry that I am uploading this like 3 days late. I mentioned in my Patriots review video of their most recent game that I was at a concert and I wasn't able to watch anything that I usually watch Sunday night. So that included the Patriots, also the Red Sox in the playoffs, and The Walking Dead, which were all on at the same time. Great timing. And I was at a concert, so I had to choose between one. Obviously, I was at a concert with my friends, so I had to choose one. Anyway, that's more contemporary to my situation as I'm filming this. If you're watching this in the future, you probably don't give a shit. Anyway, I'm a little under the weather. That's also a contemporary situation exclusive to me. Tissues, just in case we need to blow our nose if anything comes up, and I might be coughing here and there. So, allow me to do so as I give you my review of the next episode of The Walking Dead, because, of course, we're not doing reaction videos anymore. I still haven't even put that video up. I go on like a 20-minute rant as to why I'm not doing reaction videos anymore. I will put that up eventually because it's still relevant. So, anyway, don't comment here if you want to comment about that or ask me questions about it. I will make that video and probably put it up sometime later this week because I will be, there'll be a drought of content until the Patriots play the Bears on Sunday. So I'll have a vlog Sunday. Sunday night? Yeah, I guess. Because, they don't play a late game. They finally... so they've been playing they play so many Sunday night games, man. It's ridiculous. They played the Bears, and then the week after they play the Packers in Gillette. And that's another freaking NBC Sunday night game. Don't get me wrong. I love Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, but it's just the timing is just bad for me. Especially because I want to watch The Walking Dead, and I have to choose between one. So anyway, this episode, once again... I'm liking Angela Kang, man. I really am. I like her directing style, her camera angles, everything that she puts into this episode. I really enjoy it. We had the effort to repair the bridge, which obviously is the name of the episode. There's an opening monologue from Rick. He's talking to someone in a prison. It's pretty obvious who it is. They reveal who it is at the end of the episode. Rick is overseeing everyone just being happy and interacting in civilization. Now that the war is over, it's just a continuum of what we all saw in episode 1. So this is just more of that happy-go-lucky feeling, more sappy relationships. We actually have a new relationship butt up in this one. We have Father Gabriel and Jadis/Anne. Anne shows off some of her painting skills, which is pretty cool. There's a couple of scenes between the two of them, and then they actually have a kiss scene, which is really cool. It's nice that Father Gabriel gets a romantic interest. Also, he's a priest, so this is something he's most likely never had. Jadis draws somebody that Gabriel is interested in having recreated, and she assumes it was a past lover, but it was actually an organist at the church he was in, the one that Rick kills the Terminus guys in. And, you tend to forget that Gabriel had that past. And there's little lines of dialogue that I really appreciate. It's all this stuff. When I talk about this stuff in a vlog, about how different characters interact and have different scenes with other characters, I really respect it. So, for example, Rosita and Arat, if you don't remember Arat, she was one of, the lower-level lieutenants of Negan. She's the one who kills Olivia, shoots her in the head. And she cuts open Rosita's face when Rosita shoots Lucille, or tries to kill Negan and shoots Lucille. And they address that. Rosita's like, "What? Are you gonna cut my face again?" And Arat just kind of has this shrug, yeah, that was a different time. Don't get on my case for that kind of thing. So I like that. That's attention to detail. That's a minor scene that happened 2 seasons ago. And I just like that they're bringing relevancy to it. And then it wasn't just some forgotten fact, because I kind of forgot that Arat was alive. Regina, Laura, and Arat are the 3, main named saviors that were relevant to the story prior to this new beginning. Now, we're getting some new saviors that are sparking up. We have the long-haired guy, Colin, or whatever the heck his name is. I guess he's a known actor, but he's the guy that takes extra water, pushes the kid, Henry, Daryl gets into an altercation. It gets really ugly because, long story short, spoiler warning, but Aaron has a bunch of tree logs fall on his arm. A herd is incorrectly miscalled. I guess it was this savior's job to radio in and tell them that the herd was approaching. He didn't redirect it, so therefore they encroached upon the construction site. Aaron falls down, logs go on his arm. It literally crushes and just destroys his arm. And now Aaron is a one-armed man, which is actually surprising because that's like Rick's situation in the comics. Rick has his hand, again, spoilers for the comics, but Rick has his hand chopped off by the governor way early in the comics. So for most of the series, Rick has like this robot hand, or it's not really a robot hand. It's like a little claw with like 2 fingers. But they didn't want to do that because he's the main character in the show, and limiting him with the hand really doesn't make sense. Kirkman also said that it was a decision he regrets, and they had the character Merle. If you remember Merle, Daryl's brother, they had the whole hand thing where he has to saw it off. They kind of did the same thing with that, so they didn't really want to recreate it. So I like that they changed that decision. But now Aaron, some people are joking that Aaron's going to be the new Rick because he's got the big long beard, he's going to have the one hand. I don't know, man. We got to get to the episode where that all happens. I mean, we're slowly but surely inching upon episode 5, where either Rick dies, lives, gets abducted by aliens, whatever the heck his fate is. We're slowly approaching. Literally, it's going to be 3-4 weeks away. Probably in the middle of November at some point. I just hope that it's not during... No, it wouldn't be. I'm trying to think if it's during a Patriots game because... let's see. Well, this Sunday and then the following Sunday. So no, it wouldn't. Obviously, gotta represent. So much of my YouTube channel is now sports, so I got to appease the other half of my fan base that I interact with on Twitter. If you ever want to get in on the sports discussion, my Twitter at TheAireaidLord, spelled the same way as my YouTube name. You can get in on the conversation on that. I typically shit talk, specifically, like mostly with the Boston Red Sox and the New England Patriots. I'm defending Brady and the whole gang. So if you see me viciously typing away on Twitter and linking people to my videos, you'll know why. But that's neither here nor there. Not to get off topic. There is a whole scene with Maggie trying to forgive Earl, who tried to kill her. And Jesus and a bunch of others, Michonne, like, they're all telling her, like, you know, there's different ways to deal with prisoners. Obviously, this is a touchy subject, considering what Rick did by keeping Negan alive. So she wrestles with this fact. And it's actually really, really interesting. Again, another piece of relevant history that Angela Kang digs up from the past of these characters. And I like how she did that in this episode. With Father Gabriel and the organist and how that comes into play with his relationship with Jada/Anne. And then Maggie explains that she had sympathy for Earl and Earl's drinking problem because her father, Herschel, also had a drinking problem. You know, a big Irish guy who, probably abused the booze a few times. And there are points in the show, seasons ago, I remember him saying stuff like that about how he had abused alcohol. I think it was season 2 where they were stuck on the farm for the entire season. But I do remember him saying that. And I love how, like, Angela Kang dug that deep. I think when she started the show, I mean, I think she was just like an intern, just production team at the point when she jumped on board season 2, back when Glenn Mazzara / Frank Darabont were still in charge of running the show. Holy crap. I mean, we're really going to the memory bank on that one. But that's great. Like, I love that the little pieces of history from this show matter. And I have to say, with Gimple, it was really just big picture stuff, you know? It was the big themes, and he didn't really do a lot of that digging. Sometimes you would get some payoff, but, like, it wasn't episode to episode. It was like you had to wait an entire half a season or an entire length of a season to really get the payoff. And it was just a lot of meandering, and there was just no payoff. Like, I felt this was a good payoff from start to finish. Maggie doesn't know what to do with the prisoner. She has a conversation. The wife wants to visit Earl. She lets that happen. And by the end, she lets the guy out to work on the wheelbarrow because he's the only blacksmith they have. So then with the wheelbarrow fixed, or no, sorry, not the wheelbarrow, the plow, they can then tend to the crops. Then they'll have a surplus of crops that they can give the saviors because the saviors can't grow jack diddly squat at the sanctuary. again, it's just easy to connect the dots. It's easy to see how everything kind of connects and interacts. I really like it. And then to top the episode off, Rick has his first conversation with Negan. This is Negan's first appearance in season 9. He's in prison. We don't see his face really at all except for the silhouette of his eyes. I love that line. You're not, saving the world, Rick. You're just getting it ready for me. That's been in the trailers leading up to this point. Although they did have a teaser scene where Michonne brings Negan his food and he refuses to eat it unless Michonne talks to him. I didn't see that scene in episode 2, so I don't know if that was a preview to like a leaked preview to a future episode, maybe episode 3 or something. I don't know about that. So I was looking for that because that preview came out like a week ago, and I was like, well, where the heck is it in this episode? It wasn't in the episode. So I'll have to wait and see if it's in episode 3. And yeah, Daryl, more dialogue. That's one big improvement. Daryl has dialogue. He's really going toe to toe with Rick. Are we on the same side? There's only one way to deal with these saviors, and of course, people are suspecting that he's the one who's stealing these saviors away at night. Apparently, like 5 saviors have gone missing. They say this at the beginning of the episode, and it sets up perfectly for at the end when that guy's walking home and he just gets snatched up. Daryl would be the most likely option because he has a vendetta against the Saviors, but then also there's the Whisperers, which we don't know when they're going to come into play, how they're going to come into play. We know they're going to be in Season 9, but is it too soon to introduce them? Like, right now, it's just the bitter rivalry between the communities. But if anything, the disappearance of this guy is going to exasperate the situation and the tension between the communities. We see this in the preview clip where Regina, Ara, and Laura, very Savior-esque to the previous seasons, they've blocked the road, and Maggie is going down with a guy that looks like Glenn, and they're like, well, where's the guy? Like, they suspect that it's Rick's side of people, that is, Rick's people, I guess, who took this guy, and so now it looks like there's going to be fights and inner conflict, and it's not something that Rick's just going to be able to appease and just kind of diffuse, because he diffused it initially, but it's looking like it's building and building and building and building. So, again, what I like about these episodes is that there's payoff within the episodes. Like, when I'm watching it, like, something that was relevant at the beginning is also relevant at the end, and you don't have to wait 8-7 episodes. It's not like, oh, okay, like in the season premiere, this happens, and by episode 8, 6 weeks later, then I'm going to get some payoff. Like, that's not the way they do it. And I like that fact that the show is grounded in the episode so that people enjoy the episodes for the 40-50 minute time slot that they're available for. Because that's a complaint that people had, that so many episodes, it was just people meandering and wandering through forests. Obviously, in Season 7, you really had to set up all of these communities and introduce everybody. I mean, look how many freaking communities there are. We just jump from character to character, but in the end, we've met all of these civilizations before. The Oceanside, the Kingdom, Hilltop. I mean, we've seen all of them, and in episodes past, they've all had their own individualized episodes, which a lot of people complained and yelled at Scott Gimple about, but I guess we see the payoff now. They were kind of a necessary evil. But then again, that was the complaint. People thought that Scott Gimple could have done it better rather than just isolating, having these characters walking around talking about their feelings instead of getting something useful done. So good episode. I'd give it another solid 9. Again, nothing too much to complain about. I kind of wish we had some more Negan scenes. We still haven't seen the Kingdom. It was really just like the focus was the bridge. Like, that just seems to be the major plot point. Like, Rick trying to keep peace and them building this bridge so that there's transportation between the communities. So, I'm kind of wondering if Henry's going to be the one that hooks up with Lydia. It's just a far-fetched theory, because Ezekiel says to Henry, like, oh, your grandchildren will one day cross this bridge, and I don't know if that's a reference to Henry's romantic interest maybe down the road. Because again, in the comics, she gets together with Carl. That's obviously completely impossible considering what happened last season. So we'll see, man. We'll see where this goes. Yeah, just decent episode. Decent episode, fulfilling from start to finish. As I said, there was payoff within the episode, and I'm excited to see where things go. So, thank you guys again. Sorry I was blowing my nose like I am now, um, and I'm surprised I'm able to talk so fluently when I'm just feeling like such crap. I'm probably gonna go take a nap after this, but I'm glad. I wanted to do this vlog. I just didn't have time to do it, and I meant to do it, last night, and I've just been caught up. Again, I get busy. I'm just way, way, way busier, and it's much harder to do the vlogs. My Elgato, my gaming device, is still freaking broken, so I can't upload video game footage. I'm trying to get in contact with Elgato customer support, but who knows if that'll happen. So we'll see. So thank you guys for watching. As always, comment, rate, subscribe. Follow my Twitter if you want sports related stuff for all Boston teams. And I will see you guys later. Peace.